Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CyberJar live stream. I am joined today by a very special person. He is the developer. Oh, sorry, sorry. He's a tech writer at Azul, but also a great JavaFX enthusiast and expert, the author of the book and speaker Frank Delporte. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. How are you today?
Fine. Preparing the whole day, not the whole day, but setting up stuff around me that I want to show you. You invited me. Can you show me some fun stuff and inspiring stuff of what you can do with Java on Raspberry Pi? And I have a bunch of stuff here. So yeah, I want to dive in and show you what people can do with it.
Awesome. That's a very interesting story how Frank and I met. So we work at different companies who might be considered kind of rivals in a way.
Mhm.
So I work at Bellsoft and developer advocate at Bellsoft, and Frank works at Azul. So both companies develop and support the OpenJDK distributions, like JDK and Azul Zulu. And both companies provide builds of OpenGTK with JavaFX bundled
Mhm.
into it. So that is very convenient if you work with JavaFX to just grab this bundle. And without the need to install any other dependencies, you can just develop the app. And so this mutual love towards JavaFX has united us. And as the companies both provide JavaFX builds, we have the legitimate cause to actually
To work
do
together.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that you already contributed some of your JavaFX content to JFX Central, one of the websites we definitely have to take a look at, where yeah, people can learn about what you can build with JavaFX. And um, I'm also happy that you, as a younger person than me, find this love for JavaFX because most developers look at JavaScript-based frameworks to do UI development. While if you are a Java developer, there is such a great library available there, and that's JavaFX, and stay
Yes.
within your ecosystem and within one application have a very strong backend with pure Java and a very flexible and dynamic front end with JavaFX, but stay within one application if you're building something for desktop. So that's definitely something, yeah, I love, and you too.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, when you think about UIs, usually Java doesn't come to mind, right? And that's what we're trying to fix, and that's
Mhm.
what we're trying to fix today too. So yeah, I'm just a beginner with JavaFX. I got captivated by that because I love Java, and I'm making my own small steps. But Frank is a profi. So, friends, please don't hesitate if you have any questions on JavaFX, on Raspberry Pis, on anything related to Java
Mhm.
embedded. Please post your questions, and Frank and I hopefully will be happy to answer them. Also, just say hi, say where you are joining us from, and well, yeah, I guess right now we are ready to dig in
Mhm.
because Frank has got a lot to show us. I mean, tons of
Maybe too
material,
much.
super cool stuff. Yeah, but first, Frank, could you please tell us why Java on as a UI language? Why Java on Raspberry Pi? What can we do with Java on Raspberry Pi?
What can we not do? Um, but I always say there is no bad language. I'm not gonna bash Python or any other language. I've used Qt with C++ in the past, but it's not my language. I am a Java developer. I love Java. And actually, I can do whatever I want with Java and JavaFX. I don't need other tools. A lot of people are now experimenting with AI. We have this wonderful LangChain 4j library, which can be used in Java. It's the same with UIs. It's pretty difficult compared to Swing. I didn't use Swing a lot,
Yeah,
but Swing doesn't evolve anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a big no for me to use Swing. JavaFX is actively developed. You have the same release cycle as Java itself. So it's also version 25, which will be released in 2 weeks or a good 2 weeks. So they are following that same path. It's not that there are big changes in JavaFX, that's right, but it keeps evolving and it supports, like for instance, macOS will have a new rendering pipeline for visual stuff, so that will
Mhm.
also be part of JavaFX. Johan Vos, who is one of the main leads, together with someone from
Yeah.
Kevin Rushford from Oracle, so they
Mhm.
are in the lead of JavaFX, but Johan Vos is also the lead of Java on mobile.
Mhm.
So you can already build JavaFX apps for iOS and Android. With Java on mobile, that will become a lot easier. And it's an active project within OpenJDK. It's an ongoing project. We're very curious what will happen. Hoping also that both our companies will maybe step in and help there. But yeah, there is a big evolution ongoing in both Java and JavaFX. So they keep both evolving. And maybe it's a bit more difficult to start with JavaFX because it's not part of OpenJDK runtime by default. But as you said, Belsoft, Azul, we built OpenJDKs that you can install on your machine with the JavaFX runtime included. Also for the Raspberry Pi.
Mhm.
You will see, of course, I'm using Azul runtime on my on my Raspberry Pis. Um, so yes, for some it's a bit more difficult to get started, but that's exactly what we want to fix with this stream, what we want to fix
Yes.
with JFX Central, with tutorials that we are creating. Um, there are plugins for VS Code, for IntelliJ, to have JavaFX application. I will show you a very short example on the Raspberry Pi with the JavaFX getting started
Mhm.
application. So um, I let's, if you want to add my screen to the stream,
Yes, of
then
course.
we can go through.
Mhm.
As you can see, I have a long list of things I want to show you. So as I said before, I maybe added too much. So what is a Raspberry Pi? Let's start with the beginning. It's this, a very small computer, but this is a full Linux machine. Yeah? So you have them in different flavors, different prices, going from, let's say, 25, 35 euros to 95. You also have them combined into a keyboard, the Raspberry Pi 400 and 500 for people of my age who started with the Commodore 64. It's the same thing, but with way more performance and a lower price. Um, what's also fun, we're going to talk about Py4j later, but these are all the models that are available of the Raspberry Pi. It's something I created with Vaadin as a side project. So here you have all the models. We are now on the 5. That's the latest one. As you can see, this is a 4 core CPU with up to 16 gigabytes of memory. All on that board. This costs 95 euros. So this is a full Linux machine. So
Mhm.
anything that you do with Java or other languages in the cloud, on expensive computers, you can do on this thing. And you can even, it's in a housing here, but this is, I know I have one here. This is the Raspberry Pi Zero. It's a lot smaller, but also this is
Mhm.
available for, I think, $35 with a 4-core CPU. It only has half a gig of memory, so that's not much, but a lot of people are running Java services in Docker with 512 megabytes. So that's the same thing
Mhm.
as this. So you can run Java on this very small computer. So this is everything. You have everything. You just connect power and you connect the screen and you have your computer running. You can do amazing stuff. So Raspberry Pi has their own software to burn an operating system on the SD card. So as you can see, these have an SD card. So everything is stored on there. You have an SD card. So that's the operating system.
Mhm.
So you put in there what you want. If you go to a few terabytes, that's possible these days. So you burn an operating system to that card and you get started. Raspberry Pi has their own operating system. It's based on Debian, so it's a full Linux environment. But there are way more operating systems available for the Raspberry Pi. You have media systems, you have NAS storage, you have retro gaming. Look it up. There's a way more than that. What's also fun is what you are now looking at, this camera. So I have a few cameras here around me. These cameras are Raspberry Pis. So what you see here is a €100 full HDMI camera. So it's just an HDMI connection. Where is it here? An HDMI connection. And I use these for what you see here. So this is filmed with such a camera. So you can use them for way more than just computing. It's a fun project to experiment with. I have them in a setup. Do you have a picture here? I have them in a setup with an Atom. It's a lovely thing to play with. Yes, I'm a bit of a video geek, so that's why I have all this stuff around me.
How much of an engineer, I mean, hardcore engineer, do you have to do to start working with Raspberry Pi?
If you have ever used Linux, no problem. You just get started. If you never use Linux, if you're a Windows user or a Mac user, you just start with this Raspberry Pi software I just showed you. It's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So that's your starting point to select an operating system to burn it on the SD card. But it's a matter of an hour between unboxing it and having it running. Maybe I'll come back to that later, but we have here on the Pi4J side, we have a prepare a Raspberry Pi, which also instructs you how to do this. And this goes further than just getting it starting, because this is setting up the operating system, installing it on an SD card. Then you can do some stuff like updating it, but this already goes way further because this prepares the Raspberry Pi for Java programming to control electronic components. So that's something we will come back to.
Yeah. That's a good starting point.
Yeah, but that's a good starting point, the Pi4J side. A lot of people will have heard of Home Assistant. That's one good thing, an example of what you can do with the Raspberry Pi. So Home Assistant comes as an operating system. So you burn it on an SD card. And what it can do, it will sniff your network for devices that it recognizes, like it recognized my solar panel converter. It recognized my electric meter. So it finds all these things, and you can even buy customized Raspberry Pis, which even has more like Zigbee. I don't know if you have ever heard of Zigbee. Zigbee is a wireless protocol between home IoT devices. So you can have this kind of but I run it on just a normal Raspberry Pi, no extra stuff in a box like this. For €10 or something like that behind me in the closet. It has Bluetooth, so it's at some day they installed a new light above my desk. It comes with the Bluetooth power button. It recognized it. So and then you have this kind of stuff. So I have more information on my Raspberry Pi about my car than I have on the official Volkswagen app.
Amazing.
I can see how much my car is charging and how much my solar panels are producing.
So this whole UI is built with JavaFX, right?
No. This is an existing thing. So this is this Home Assistant. I think it's Python. So it's just an operating system with a web application. As I said, I'm not going to push anyone into Java, although I love it. If there is something which is perfect for what you need, like Home Assistant, please use it. What you will see is that I use it like my Home Assistant also has a Mosquito message broker installed. So from Java, I can send messages and get messages from this. So I can connect stuff like other things. Now, what is for me the power of the Raspberry Pi? Let me show it again. is this.
Mm-hmm.
You see these pins?
Yeah.
The fun thing is, so when they developed the Raspberry Pi, the idea was, let's make the cheapest possible computer
Mm-hmm.
to give everyone across the world the possibility to own a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first, and now it's an HDMI connector, a very small one, but it's HDMI. But the very first Raspberry Pis, I even have one here, didn't come with HDMI, but came with an analog
Uh-huh.
video connection. So the
Oh.
idea was connect this to your existing television. So you didn't need to buy an expensive monitor. It was just by the computer connected to the television and you can start computing.
This
So
is
that
so
was, yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
the first idea. And when they were designing this board, you even see the connector. So where are you? So this is the latest one with 40 pins. This has a smaller header. So when designing this board, they found out, oh, we have some spare input-output connections on this chip. Let's just add a header and see what people will do with it. And turned
Mm-hmm.
out that, okay, the computer was a very good idea, but this was even a better idea. You can connect electronic stuff to it. And electronic stuff is very broad. I have here this link. If you look up for an electron, I have stuff like this here. But if you look it up, it's something like this. It's a box of 20 to 100 euros, and it contains a LED segment display like you have in your alarm clock, a
Uh-huh.
display, LEDs, a light sensor, a little motor, stuff like that. You have various kits. If you buy such a kit, most of the times they come with an Arduino, which is a microcontroller, different story. You control that with C or MicroPython, not Java. But you can also connect these components to a Raspberry Pi and control them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I wanted to learn myself a few years ago. I wanted to make something for my son to have some touchscreen
Mm-hmm.
and control lights, turn lights on and off. And I wanted to do that with Java because that's the thing I know. I already knew. And the electronics thing, I didn't do that. So I started experimenting, started writing. That's how I became a tech writer, how I became an author. I wrote this book. Um, and let me see. Yeah, so the book is here. The paper version is sold out, but you can still buy it on Leanpub, and I keep updating it. I'm working on a new version because we have Java 25 in a
Yeah.
few weeks. Py4j, the main part of the book, is updated a lot, has changed
Mhm.
a lot. So I kept updating the book the whole time, and I need to do a big update again next month
Mhm.
because we will have um, a new plugin in the library of Py4j, which makes it
That's
better.
nice. Nice.
By the
Friends,
way,
I'm posting. Yes, sorry, Frank.
yeah,
Friends, I'm posting the links in the chat
yeah, I see.
as we go. So yeah, you can just click on them
Ah,
and follow the links, just as Frank explains. Yeah, stuff.
thanks for that, by
Hey.
the way. And by the way, the book is the principle of Leanpub. You pay whatever you want, starting from 9.99. I I think only a few people did this, but it's an invitation. By the way, if you ever want to write a book yourself, I had a podcast about this. I also do podcasts for Fuji where we talk about Java or more general things. And one of the podcasts is about writing a book. Does it make you rich and famous? I think you know the answer. Short answer is rich, no, famous, maybe. Um, so that's a bit the idea. Now, I hope I'm not going too fast, but I want to show you a lot of stuff. So let's
Yeah.
dive into
Yeah.
Py4j.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So what is
Py,
Pi for you
yeah,
exactly? Yeah.
Py4j is a magical library because what it actually does, and this is an important image, so you have a library inside your application, like we use any kind of library to talk to a database or whatever. But the library contains native code to talk to electronic components, just like Hibernate is for databases.
Uh huh.
This library has a way of knowing how to talk to, like you have these different protocols. The simplest way is just on and off, put the
Mm-hmm.
LED on and off. But there are more complicated ones like controlling a screen and stuff like that. So this is all in the library. Now, when I was writing the book almost 5 years ago, or 5 years ago already,
Mm-hmm.
it was version 1, which was
Mm-hmm.
already, I think, 8 years old. It was good, but it was based on Java 8 and it was a bit stuck and difficult to maintain. And the original creator, Robert Savage, he stepped out of the project. Sorry. He had a version 2, which was nearly finished, but he didn't have time to push it further. And by writing the book, I got involved, and then some other people. And now we have a whole team of people working on this project,
Mm.
like an open source project. We have a whole team of people who contributed code, documentation, examples. Mohammed made a version for Kotlin, a
Mm-hmm.
DSL. Alexander stepped in at a certain time and he made it compatible with the Raspberry Pi 5 because Raspberry Pi 5 had a breaking change in the hardware,
That's awesome.
causing our library not to work anymore. We had it on as an issue, and at
Mm-hmm.
some point, this Alexander came and said, "Yeah, I think I have something which makes it compatible again. I have a new plugin which works for the Raspberry Pi 5." He contributed. He's no longer actively maintaining it, but there are others who can do that. So the project is still very much alive. Now in Java 22, we have the foreign function and memory API,
Mm-hmm.
which is a much better way to do this. The thing here, the drawing here, this native code part. So we
Mm-hmm.
can simplify the code a lot. And again, someone stepped up and said, I have a solution there. I'm going to do this. So
Mm-hmm.
Digital Smile, he's called here, but it's Darius. Uh, he's making this new plugin based on foreign function memory API. So that's something we will present at DevOps in October, but it's coming. So it's a real open source project. It's a community project. It's people contributing. A few weeks ago, a discussion started. Let's build a new library on top of Py4j within the project to make it even easier for people to interact with complex components like a screen or a temperature sensor. I just started, I created the empty repository. We are a few weeks or 1 week further, and already we had 7 pull requests, and it's going. It's not published yet, but it's building. We have examples, so it's so fun to see how a project can live and evolve,
Yeah.
and people contribute. Now, as I'm a tech writer, I love writing. I did a book, and I used a lot of my book to make a new website for Py4j, which was published together with version 2 some years ago. And this website wants to be the starting point if you want to do Java on Raspberry Pi.
Oh my God,
Uh,
Frank, do you even have time to sleep? I mean, you do so much. Or
um,
or work.
I don't consider this work. This is also my hobby. I love, and it's in two directions. If I experiment with Java on a Raspberry Pi, then it helps me to better understand other things I need to document. Or I can use the Raspberry Pi as a Linux computer to test something because I'm working on a Mac most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it comes all together. If there is a new Java version, I know there is an issue with Java 22 plus on some
Mm.
Raspberry Pis.
On Raspberry Pis.
On the
Mm.
Raspberry Pis,
Yeah.
specific. So I write a blog about it somewhere here. What is it? Cannot remember. Here, well, yeah. On the 02. So on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really related to the processor. Probably we will have a fix in 25 or in October. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something I can test. So there is really a crossover between what I do as work and what I love doing and teaching people and writing about. So there's really a combination here. And of course, let me scroll to the end. So I maintain the links of the week for the JFX Central website. So this, I took a
Mhm.
break in August. We'll start this week again. And I also write a lot for Fuji. So if people don't know this website for the Friends of OpenJDK, I know some really good authors here who also started
Yeah,
contributing.
I have one
So
article there. I'm planning to do more.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
we have over, what is it? How many authors do we have?
oh,
289 authors who
yeah,
contributed between one and I don't know how many posts.
yeah,
But this is the, yeah. If you're into Java development, please visit fuji.io. Uh, Almost every day there are articles. Like here, August 26th, there were three. So
mhm.
there's always and it's Java related, but it goes very broad, like database stuff and sometimes about like AI newsletter and yeah. So a lot of
Yeah,
things
so
are
I love
ongoing.
J. It's very vibrant. There are
Mhm.
new articles all the time about new
Yeah,
Java features, JavaFX features, and what's not. And
yeah.
yeah, so I'm proud to be this little humble contributor. And yeah, so if you have noticed, so yeah, that's sorry, Frank. I mean, I'm taking your stage time. But yeah, so this the thing I wanted to share with you, friends, is that I'm doing so little researches on my own with the JavaFX, um, especially what concerns native images and testing JavaFX applications. So native image, which is a part of Graalvm native image, helps you to turn your application into a native executable, like well, yeah, executable file, just
Mhm.
like for any application that you run on Windows, on Mac, or Linux. And I see native image as a very good beneficial thing for JavaFX applications. So you can turn them to exe files. They don't need a JVM to run. They don't need anything. That's the fully compiled
Mhm.
executable. And so yeah, I have already contributed one article, and I think I wrote one more. So about how you can set up the CI/CD pipeline for JavaFX apps to build the native image simultaneously for several platforms. So yeah, just check it out, and a little bit of advertising
And,
here
and,
also.
and,
Because,
and
yeah,
try it on the Raspberry Pi because it's some
yeah,
time ago that I tried it, I have to admit. But at that time, GraalVM needed a lot of memory. I tried
yeah,
it on a Raspberry Pi and I failed because I only had Raspberry Pis then with, I think, 4 GB of memory.
yeah.
And
So
it
yeah,
failed.
so. Mhm.
Maybe that's not no longer the issue, but at that time that was a problem. So
Well, the
maybe
build
it's solved.
process really is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
resource consuming,
yeah,
about 10 gigabytes.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
for the build process. That's
yeah.
what you have to live with. So,
But it's
yeah.
a one-time thing. You have to do so.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah, just check it out.
yeah,
So, we
yeah.
have a Balsoft Liberica Native Image Kit with JavaFX bundled. So, you can build native images of JavaFX applications.
Mhm.
They're
Okay,
just from the
something to try
company.
out.
Yeah. Okay. So, back to Frank and his
Yes,
lab.
where was I in my story? So we have to. What I also want to show, if you want to prepare a Raspberry Pi for
Mm-hmm.
Java development, we call it Pi4J operating system. It's not really an operating system. So you start with Raspberry Pi operating system, put it on an SD card, then
Mm-hmm.
you copy this command and we'll do a lot of stuff. So it will update, set some properties to enable these electronic ports. It will install Java, it will install Maven, it will install JBang, and some other stuff. So a Java version with JavaFX, Azul, so that it's ready to run JavaFX applications. And it also has a wallpaper script. And if you run the wallpaper script, you get something like this, which makes it very easy to debug. So you see the IP of your device, uh, what kind of board is detected. And this wallpaper script is, of course, I created it. So it is written in Java.
Mhm.
So it is a JBang script. So a single file application which gets the network info, which gets the type of board, the host name, stuff like that, and it creates an image, saves it, and then puts that on the screen. So this is a Java application, but created with JBang. Do you know JBang? Do you use it?
No, not really. So could you tell us a little bit more
Yeah,
about JBang?
it's it solves the getting started problem that people have with Java, that they have to know about Maven or Gradle or
Mm-hmm.
compiling code or ClassPath stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which can be a bit difficult to get started. So again, JBang is explained on the Pi4j side, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you something on a Raspberry Pi. So I have here my Raspberry Pi next to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is the screen sharing.
Uh-huh.
And I have here a JavaFX single file application, which you can find on GitHub on the Pi4j JBang examples. And it's
Mm-hmm.
called Hello JavaFX World.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it actually, because I execute it with JBang, I don't need to compile it. I don't need Maven. I don't need Gradle. I just need JBang.
Mm-hmm.
The only
Nice.
difference, there are two main differences with a normal Java file. So it's just a Java file, but it has this first line, which helps JBang to treat it like a scripting. The dependencies that you need
Mm-hmm.
can be defined with depths, and then the Gradle style like this. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I'm using OpenJFX controls and graphics and the Pi4j library, the core library, to detect which type of Raspberry Pi this is. And all the rest is just plain normal Java code and imports. This is a JavaFX example, so it has application here. So it extends from a JavaFX application. It has the main, but the main does something special. It is calling launch, because launch is the start command for a JavaFX application. And then actually this is all we need to have a user interface. So ignore these three lines. So I'm using a border pane. A border pane is a traditional layout like you have in Outlook, with the left column, top column, right, center, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I add this to my scene. The scene is then set to the stage. You have to see it like a theater where you have different scenes. So if I am on a Raspberry Pi, I am in Visual Studio Code. I have two extensions, a Java extension and a JBang extension. I can now run this application from within my Visual Studio Code running on the Raspberry Pi. So you see here, this is my Raspberry Pi. It's in the back of this computer, and this is the screen. Okay, you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Now let me go back to my code, and on the top of the application, I want a header. Now, people who have done Vaadin development or some kind of UI development with some kind of library or JavaScript library will recognize this kind of stuff. So you have a label where you can set a font and a text fill. You have a header, which is in this case a horizontal box. So items you add to the box are aligned horizontally. I only add the header label, but I use it for some extra styling. Yeah, like you would use a div on a web page.
Mm-hmm.
So I just uncommented this. If I run my script again. So what it actually does in the background, it compiles this code, it gets the dependencies, it makes all these class files, but as a starter, you are not interested in this. You want to see something working. So now I have my header. Huh? And in the same way, I have two things I added to the left and to the center. The code is all below this. So all the code for this application is in one file.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I run this, I get something like this.
Ooh,
So
that's fun. Mm-hmm.
it's this once created it for, let me check, where is it? Here. Uh, there are two different ways where you can put stuff on the screen in JavaFX, like you're used to with traditional layouts, just buttons, text area, a label, a video, an image area, a table, a grid, stuff like that. Or you can draw on the canvas, like
Mm-hmm.
you also can do in HTML. You just draw a circle or a line, and then you animate them. But as you can see, because this is a bit slowed down because it's a screen sharing, but this is my
Mm-hmm.
camera pointing at. So you
Mm-hmm.
see here, and I went. So these are only, I think, 10 or 15 balls, but in my video on this blog post, let me search for the results. I don't know if it's ever mentioned
You're
somewhere.
using Canvas API for that, right?
Here I compare nodes versus the Canvas API. And
Mm-hmm.
you will see that you can do a lot more with the Canvas, very smooth animations,
Canvas
fun
is
stuff.
really cool. I
It's
mean,
really cool, yeah.
yeah, I've been building this
Yeah,
solfeggio application, and I drew a piano, a virtual piano that,
yeah,
well, you can play actually with Canvas API.
yeah.
So, and it's
The
actually
piano is
not.
something we will come
Yeah,
to because
yeah,
that's another thing we share. We are experimenting with pianos.
yeah.
Okay, let me see if I'm okay. Good. Um, I mentioned the drum boot of my son. That's where it all started for me to build something to control the screen of the drum boot. So I have, again, go back to the cameras. So let's jump to the drum boot. So this is the drum boot of my son.
Mm-hmm.
That's the camera view that you now have. Let me see if I can find the screen sharing. Okay, so this is again a JavaFX application. It's running on the screen of the drum boot here in the back. You see it
Okay.
in the
Yeah,
center. So if I switch to another view, you see that the view has changed here.
we can
You
see
see
that
it?
you have a very nice weather.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is better. But what I'm actually using as a Raspberry Pi, and I'm a bit jumping forward and backward, is this.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Raspberry Pi, which is plugged into a board with 8 relais
Uh-huh.
because I want to control 220 volt lights, which you cannot control with a board like this. It would blow. It would blow up in a second. So I have this whole setup where you have 220 volt connections. There's an Arduino involved. Everything is nicely connected in a box. So that's behind the wall of the drum boot. And then you have this Raspberry Pi, which is connected to it. So let's see what we can do. So if I turn off this light, you want to have a romantic
Yeah.
evening, voila. So we can turn on the mirror ball. I have some other spotlights I can control here. So I can control all this. This is, by the way, again, using Pi4j. And then the Arduino is controlling a few LED strips.
Wow.
So you can do all this kind of stuff here. Oh, let me turn off this one again. So I can control all this with the JavaFX application.
Amazing.
And because I'm using the same sources for other stuff, like he can also see the weather
Mm-hmm.
forecast, which I also use in my kitchen. So this is the same weather forecast component, but in my kitchen, I want to know which of the trash I have to set outside tomorrow. And my son has to take the train from Kortrijk, or he's already on the train, so I can see that the train will be on time. So all this kind of stuff, I'm using Java. This is the kind of stuff I know. I can call an API. I know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, adding that weather forecast, and I have to be honest, ChatGPT is helping me a lot to create JavaFX user interfaces. I can do that very easily if I do the Java backend to call this API, which is very specific for Belgium. It's the Belgian Railway. But then create me some nice visualization component. ChatGPT is very good in doing that. Why? Because JavaFX is stable. I wouldn't call it old, but it's stable. That means that documentation for JavaFX, even if it's old, is still very accurate. And these chat systems are trained by older data. Huh? So that's why you can really use those to very easily build user interfaces and experiment with user interfaces.
Yeah, but maybe, Frank, could you maybe show us a piece of code of this
Yeah.
beautiful application?
So for the drum boot controller, that's actually on a blog post, and the sources there are available.
Mhm.
So this is, for instance, about how I control the LED strips. So all this code is available in a repository because I talked about it at conferences and in various cases. So all
Yeah.
this code is available.
So, friends, the link is in the chat. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
In this example, I showed you the LED strips, which are controlled with an Arduino, which is a microcontroller. LED strips is something very difficult. LED strips require a very strict timing, but a lot of people are experimenting with it. So
Mm-hmm.
controlling it with Java, no. But using Java to control something which can drive a LED strip is definitely possible. I had a live stream together with Robert van Berg, which is one of the Py4j contributors, and we had some fun with a LED strip and controlled it with a Java application and some little serial device in between, and can put whatever we want. This is actually, it looks like a LED matrix, but it's a LED strip, but then some strangely wired. And again, this is completely documented on the Py4j website. So if people want to do this, all the code is here. And again, this is using JBang. So with a single file, you can do this. So if people are interested, I know I'm showing a lot of code and going very fast through it, but
Yeah,
my
there's
goal
just so
is
much. Yeah.
there's so much you can do, and I
Mhm.
just want to give people ideas. And
Yeah.
and if you have an ID, go to the Py4j website, check if you can find something. If you cannot find it, go to the GitHub of Py4j to the discussions. Probably someone already did something and will have code to help you. Okay,
Mhm.
back to my to-do.
Yeah.
No, this one. So we went through the drum screen, we had left strip, we had the kitchen screen. Okay, CrowPy, that's another fun thing. So I have this thing that I showed you already a few times next to me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a CrowPy. It's a Chinese product from Elcrow. This is the second generation. The first one had a little screen. Now they have a full screen, and it comes with this keyboard that you can put on top of it. So it's a wireless keyboard, but I cannot put it on top of it because I did some wiring here. So what is the idea here? There are a lot of components inside, and they are already wired. So you cannot mess up the wiring. So if it doesn't work, it's probably in your code.
That's perfect for me. That's perfect for me because I would mess up any wire there is. Yeah.
Okay, but actually the wires are fun, but you don't need to wire it. Now, with the first generation, which has a same LED matrix like this with 8 by 8 LEDs, but only red. This is a color. I have a problem with this. I cannot control it yet, so this is more difficult. The CrowPy 1, we had students from a Swiss university who created Java example code with the Py4j library for each of these components.
Oh my.
So all of that is again documented on the Py4j website. But what I did is, I'm a good developer. That means that I steal a lot, copy a lot. So I used their code and I wrapped it into a Vaadin interface. And I was invited to, I was allowed to talk about that at JSpring and DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
Again, open source. You can find the sources here. I have 3 branches at this moment because it evolved, and I'm now updating it to the latest September 2025 dependencies and versions. There's still some work to do, but I have it running here. So let me share my Raspberry Pi screen too, so that you see the 2 things. So I have here the output of this Vaadin application. So Vaadin means, if you don't know Vaadin, Vaadin is a Java way to build web UIs. As I say it, it's JavaFX for the browser. So, and if you create a Vaadin project on their website, the same way like you can create a start.spring.io application. So it's a combination of Spring Boot and Vaadin. And if you run it on your computer, you can go to your browser and access whatever you have created as a user interface. So you see it's running here on my Raspberry Pi. I just started as a single jar. You see the log here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we open the browser, which I apparently closed. I don't know, I have it here. So, hop. So this is my application. So this is the web application.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to the buzzer, I have buttons.
Ah.
So I can play notes. There is a little buzzer here. So that's the thing that you're hearing.
Uh-huh.
What I'm doing is a PWM, a pulse width modulation. That means that I have an electronic signal which goes on and off very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how fast, the tone is different. So this is the C is the do, but I want to C4, C, do. So that's the whole scale. I can play piano here if you want.
That's some crazy piano, yeah.
Yeah. There is an LCD display here. Here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can put text there. So let me put this a bit lower that you see it. If I go here and I say test, you see the text appearing. Huh? See it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a LED. If you see this little green LED here, which goes on and off.
Uh-huh. Yes.
But I also have a few wires connected to this board, and I use the same one, which is actually this little green LED. So this turns this LED on and off. So I'm now controlling through web application, which is running in a Java, controlling the electronics on this Raspberry Pi. This one doesn't work yet, but this little one here in the middle, the clock, I can put whatever I want there. You see?
Yeah.
There is a touch here. If I touch this, you see it happening.
It's
Now,
magic.
I don't know how many people are watching the live stream. This is your unique opportunity to try it
Hello,
out.
believe me. Yeah.
Let me share it here. So this link, if you go to this link and you go, for instance, to the touch page, let me see if we have connections. I can see this. So I have this tunnel. I don't know if you know ngrok. Ngrok is a tunneling system to easily connect the computer to the outside world. So that's what I'm using here. So someone is opening connections now. So you see the number of connections going up. If you go to the touch page and I touch this, you will all see that this changes on your side at the same time.
This is
So this is
amazing.
really a push from Raspberry Pi to everyone who is connected. There are only a few people now connecting. Never mind. I did this at Devox. So I had a few hundred people in the room connecting to this Raspberry Pi. I can open a new thing. Do I have HTOP installed here? Yes. CPU is running at a few percent, memory is below 3 gigabytes. And this is a full web application. This is now acting as a web server, and multiple people can connect to it. So I don't know if you want to use the buzzer or whatever, but I don't know what people are pushing. I can see it in my logs. If I go back to my logs.
Yeah, I was just trying to open the link, but
Touch state.
somehow
It's
we
my
can't
touch
see
state.
that.
Yeah, no problem. Of course, things have to go wrong. So if you cannot access it, it's demo time.
Yeah, the gods, the demo gods have.
The demo got. But I see that a few people are connecting, so they will
Yeah.
probably get something. So why is a Raspberry Pi a great thing? Is because you can do all these kind of experiments. And if you want to build a new web service or whatever, you don't need a cloud server, which is expensive to do this. If you want to just try it out, does it run correctly on a Linux machine? Yeah, someone found the buzzer. But if I go to the screen, if someone can buzz again, you will see that on my side, this will also get pushed here.
Oh, that's so nice.
See, I didn't do anything, but in my browser, it also shows that someone pushed the button. So it's
Brilliant.
pushing it in every direction.
So much
So
fun.
that's one of the great things, and it doesn't need a lot of resources. It just works, and it's so great to test. Is this a production use case? No, it's not. But it's definitely a good path to learn things.
So, how
And
performant is Java on Raspberry Pi?
I have it running on this half gig Raspberry Pi Zero. Of course, it needs more time to start, and it only has a half a gig of memory, but it all depends on what you want to do with it. Like I use it on these cameras. They have a small API. Hello. They have a small API to zoom in, which I created with a Java application. So it depends what you want to do with it. Like I know someone turned on the LED. You see, I turned off again. So I didn't find the limit yet, but yeah, I'm only experimenting it and using it in house for touch screens and stuff like that. It depends on what you want to build with it.
Have you tried using it with the LLM? So JavaFX with.
There are, I didn't, but there are people doing that. The problem with most LLMs is that they need a lot of memory
Yes.
again. But you have the 16 gigabyte Raspberry Pi 4. So that's probably a solution. By the way, I did mention them, but you also have the compute. I don't know if you know that. That's actually, this is the Raspberry Pi, but stripped from all connectors. And you only have some very small connectors on the back, and you have to add it to a baseboard. And on the baseboard, you can have the connectors you want. And I think they have a Raspberry Pi compute with 32 gigabytes, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so my idea
Yeah.
was to build a Home Assistant with LLM and JavaFX, but I came across an obstacle in such a way that I don't have like this powerful PC, so I have two laptops, and LLMs are not best friends with laptops. So when they work, the laptops get so hot you can fry an egg on them.
Yeah, it's a bit the same problem with the Raspberry Pi. There are definitely people experimenting with it, and also with smaller models, which can run if they have enough memory. So yeah, it depends on the use case, but it is something which is definitely done by people. Yeah. Okay. Do we have to close after 1 hour? I have some little
No,
more
no,
time.
no, no. As long as you, yeah, as you can.
Okay.
So.
You wanted some other fun stuff with JavaFX. This is something which I have done with my son, which is called Melody Matrix. It's MIDI. I love using old technologies. MIDI is very old. It's a way for music instruments to talk to each other. So we were at Devox and JFL where my son was playing the piano while I was demonstrating the application. And this is again made with JavaFX, but then with Kotlin as the backend. A part of this, by the way, this is an idea of my son. He wants to sell it. He wants to become rich. So you can buy it. I have to be honest, we didn't sell it yet, but it's here. For me, it's a use case to experiment with Java and JavaFX. I share a part of the code, so it's sellable because it's packed in an application.
Oh, we have a question
A
from
local
Andre.
cluster. Look it up, Raspberry Pi Kubernetes. You will find a lot of it. Yeah, combining 3, 4 Raspberry Pis and then putting Kubernetes on it. People have tutorials written about this. I didn't do it yet, but you will find even 3D print stuff to have a few Raspberry Pis next to each other, and then a little switch below it, so that you have a little box, a portable Kubernetes cluster. So yes, you can definitely do that. Again, it's not production stuff, but it's perfect for experimenting with mini IO or mini Kubernetes, stuff like that.
By the
Yeah,
way, Frank, do you know whether JavaFX is used in production
yeah,
anywhere?
yeah.
Mhm.
We will. That's something I forgot to add to my list. By the way, is that was the same question comes back from time to time, and of course it's used in production. It's used a lot inside companies, banking, insurance, healthcare. Problem is, those people are not allowed to talk about it. It's inside company information. And that's why you don't see this kind of applications being demonstrated at conferences, unfortunately. And that's what we want to change with Java, with JFX Central. So this website wants to show what can be done with JavaFX, how you can do it, which libraries, tutorials. But what I did is I talked to people about what they have created. And I have these interviews. So JFX in action. Let me share the link here because it's not in the list. Like for instance, Dirk Lemmerman, who is the creator of JFX Central. He is working at a company in England who do this software for companies distributing electricity.
Mhm.
So the whole company is running here, on JavaFX user interfaces, but very impressive user interfaces with graphs, with very detailed dashboards. But that's only one example. One of the first ones was Ulas Ergin, a Dutch bank. They have a JavaFX application, which is a combination of JavaFX, Swing, and React. So it's amazing what people are building with JavaFX. But yes, definitely people are using it. By the way, this application that I'm using here, Xpipe, to switch between my systems is a JavaFX application where I can see my Raspberry Pi screens. It's one of the interviews I did. This is also a JavaFX application. So yes, it's definitely used in production, but not a lot of people are allowed to talk about it, and you have to go look for it.
Yeah, but
I
that just proves that JavaFX is not a dead technology, right?
No,
Yes,
no,
it is. It
definitely.
is
Yeah,
niche. Yeah, so we can say that it's like super popular, used
yeah,
in every second bank or healthcare system,
yeah,
but it is used, right?
yeah.
So
It's definitely used. Um, to come back to the music melody matrix app.
it's
So
enough.
what's its shared by name
Frank,
is
do you know
Sean
whether
Phillips. Sean Phillips. I am hunting for him for an interview. He is amazing. I had him in the podcast for Fuji. He
Uh-huh.
is amazing. The work he has done, but again, he is not allowed to show it all. Um, you've seen Minority Report, the movie. So you have this lab where people are using big see-through screens where they touch things and they zoom out. And he has built that for the university where he's working now.
Wow.
And he has created Trinity. You have to look up Trinity software. Trinity software, YouTube, Trinity, Sean Phillips. But it's in JVIC Central. Sean and Phillips. He
The
does amazing things. This is that guy is so smart. It's unbelievable. He is looking for ways to
Mhm.
help researchers understand how AI works, because that's a problem with AI. It
Yeah.
does something, but we don't know how it works. It just comes to a result which is more or less correct most of the times,
Mhm.
but we don't know how. It's a black box, and he's helping researchers to find out how these things work. And he has this. This is all JavaFX what you see here. Eh? This is an application visualizing millions and millions of data points
This is
in
amazing.
3D charts with, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
incredible. But go
Yeah.
to JFX Central, look for Sean, you will definitely find a lot of stuff like so. I'm only scratching the foot, his heels about what
I'm
I
not
can
I'm
do.
not from there.
He's so amazing. So he can. I'm just experimenting. I'm just having fun. But he's really doing the magic. But this is the kind of, so this is using FXGL, which is actually a game library in JavaFX. So this is using that game library to generate these effects and canvas drawings and stuff like that. But this I shared on my blog and in Melody Matrix. You can find the sources online. You can play with it. You have the simulator of a piano playing, and you see the notes passing by. So this is the kind of stuff I built, but it's definitely not what Sean Phillips does. No, he's so amazing. It's very good that you come up with that name because I didn't do it. Okay, we passed the hour, but I still have a little time.
Of
I,
course.
I said I love doing old technology, which was MIDI, this way to connect music instruments and computers. But another project I already had in my mind for a long time, again related to the drum boot, is DMX 512. I think it's even older than MIDI or from the same age. DMX is a serial communication between light fixtures and smoke machines and the kind of stuff you see in a discotheque or with a big show, controlling lights. And I wanted to know if you can do that with Java. And I did find a library. And as a good developer really busy in open source then does, is you create one. So I started creating one a long time ago. I had the luck again that ChatGPT helped me to find some better ways in doing that. So how DMX 512 works is you need a way to connect your computer to these devices. One of them is serial. So I have here a little box. You connect it with an USB link to your computer. And on the other side, you have this kind of cable. Also, people know it from microphone cables, but it's the same cable used to control light fixtures. And you can send 512 bytes. And each light fixture needs some of these bytes. So it's a whole byte array of values. And you maybe see it behind me. So let me go back to the. So I have this set up here. So what I have here is two lights which can move and then two static lights. And I have to put them on. So give me a second. their first setting. They make some noise. That's why they were turned off. So they are now setting in the right position. And again, I made a JavaFX application, of course, to control them. So let me see if it works. This morning it didn't work. There we are. Where is my application now? This one. Started the wrong one. Sorry.
That's all the demo goats. I mean, you have to sacrifice something to them.
Yeah.
You're going to do a demo.
No worry. Here it is. Voila. Okay. Let's have the camera also here. So, like for instance, these two lights here, these are RGB LEDs. So they expect a value for red, green, blue, and the dimmer, how bright they have to be. And then one extra, that's an effect, I'm not going to use it. So you see here, we have 255 a byte value that we can define. So if I reduce the dimmer, you see that they go down. So this is a JavaFX interface to control these lights. Now, how you control these lights, there is a website which is called the Open Format Library. You can download a JSON file if you search for the name of a light fixture. So I searched for the names of these two that I have here, and I found a JSON which says me, this is a color changer. So this is all from a JSON file. And as a Java developer, we know how to handle JSON files. Yeah? So I just parse them into Java objects. I can visualize them in JavaFX. This JSON file was written by this person. So this device has 5 channels. So these are the 5 channels I can define. Okay. Now it becomes a bit more fun if we go to the other ones. So these moving heads. So let me see if I can, so that you can see what happens. Okay.
Ooh.
So I can control them. Then I can put some color on there. These are not RGB LEDs, so there is a circle inside which runs around and which has color fields. So it's halfway. I have these hobos which have some. And then because we have animation in JavaFX, I can say, yeah, I want them in all the available space that they have to animate. And let's make it a bit faster. And because I'm in a discotheque and I want to have some fun, let's have the second one mirrored. And now they're doing some opposite things. And I can control all this from a Java backend.
Wow, isn't that brilliant?
Again, is it production ready? No, it's 002 of my library. Will it ever get to 100? I don't know. But again, I learned some stuff. I learned that this one doesn't work yet. My protocol doesn't work. But I have found another one which is cheaper on Amazon, and this one works. And I have an IP version there. These ones were serial USB. That one is IP. That one works too. So again, I learned about how to create a user interface with this kind of icons in a list. How I can create a joystick area like this and an animation, and again, using ChatGPT, it helped me a lot to make this. It was not fully generated by ChatGPT, it didn't work, but it did help me to understand how I can create a joystick area like this. Maybe there was a library for that, but I didn't look it up. I found something which was working for me fast enough. So there are different things you can do with JavaFX. It doesn't have to be boring company stuff. We didn't even talk now about game creation. Let's go back here. FXGL by Almas. Let me share that link too here. Almas is a professor at English University. He created this library where you can create all kinds of games
Wow.
with JavaFX in Java. Again, a very nice example of what can be done with JavaFX. So these are all screenshots from different games created with it. He's also experimenting with AI insights to randomly create labyrinths and stuff like that. So scene
Frank.
builder, good
Yeah.
question. Let me first turn off the lights again. They bother me.
Yeah. So while Frank is doing that, I personally use
Yeah.
Sim Builder, but my demos, I guess, they're of a little bit different kind. So for me,
Um, I don't use Sim. I come from the generation of the Flash applications. Did you ever use Flash? Flash and
I
Flex?
remember it was very annoying on my old Windows
It could be.
97.
I, I was one of those people who created animations at the beginning of a website where you could do skip animation. Huh? And then in a second generation, you had Flex, where you could create business-like applications. And you also had the choice between an XML-defined layout and then separate your code, or you can do everything in code. And indeed, I do everything in code. But that's my personal preference. You can use scene builder. People who don't know scene builder, so JavaFX scene builder is a way to separate layouts from the code. So the scene builder helps you to create an XML file style, an XML styled file, which says, here comes a text input, here comes a list, here comes this, here comes this.
Yeah, so
And you
it's a
say,
drag and drop interface.
drag
Yeah.
and drop, yeah. And you say, if you click this button, then call the method click send of send clicked, something like that. So that means that the send clicked, you have to implement it in your Java code. It works perfectly. The idea is same was also an idea in Flex, is that you have two separate teams. You can have someone who focuses on the layout, who makes in Scene Builder the layout, styling, CSS, everything there. And then you have someone separately doing the code. Of course, everyone can combine this. For me, I feel it's easier to do everything in code. But again, it's a matter of choice.
Yeah,
And
matter
we
of
should be
taste.
happy that we have all these choices. There are different ways you can do the same thing always. Scene Builder is one of those. So you can use Scene Builder or you can use code only approach. It's like you wish. But Scene
Yeah.
Builder is a great tool. And again, it's actively maintained. It's up to date. It's based on the latest Java and JavaFX. So definitely take a look at it. Do we
Mm.
already have a link of
Scene
Scene
builder.
Builder?
Yeah, so
Let
I'll
me copy
paste it.
paste. Hopla. Here it is.
Yeah. I think.
JPro and WebFX. JPro is what makes JFX Central run in the browser. So JFX Central, again, is made with JavaFX. You can run it in the browser. You can run it as a desktop app. You can run it as an iOS app. And we hoped to create an Android app, but we get a bit stuck. So let's see if we can get that solved.
Mhm.
It runs in the browser thanks to JPro. What JPro does is it runs on a server and it pushes it into the DOM of the website. Probably not completely correct. And that's a bit the same thing that WebFX does. So they, no, is WebFX not transcompiling? I'm not sure. So these two try to find a way to bring JavaFX in the browser. JPro is a paid subscription thing, depending on the size of your server. We are lucky with JFX Central that JPro is sponsoring us because it's a perfect use case for what they are selling. And I know that they have a lot of companies using it. But we have to admit, JavaFX was not made to create websites, but it is possible. And in the case of JFX Central, of course, we had to make it in Java and JavaFX, but it also allowed to have one code base, or a single repository, which generates both, not both, but generates and the website and the iOS app and the desktop app, all from the same sources. If you look into the iOS app, it looks very different because Apple was blocking it. They don't want just websites packed as an iOS app. So that's why there was another user interface built on top of it, but it has exactly the same content, the same graphical elements, the same communication with the data. If you're interested, JFX Central, if you go to the homepage, here you have the repository with the sources. So the full project is here. So you see that there is a mobile directory there. And here you have the data. So if you have created, for instance, a JavaFX library, and you want it to be listed here, you can make a pull request to the JavaFX Central data repository, and I will merge it and fine tune it if needed and publish it, and it's available very fast. So these both, both the front end and the data are separate repositories which you can access from here, and you can contribute or just take a look how it was created.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was other questions. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Sean, did we copy a link to the YouTube of Sean?
You don't know. Could you pass
Yeah,
it?
this is one of
Yeah, this
Sean
one. Yeah,
Phillips.
this
Yeah,
one. Mhm.
this one. But he has way more, and indeed he has done NASA stuff, trajectory visualization of rockets in space, and it sounds too good to be true. But he has done amazing things, and he's a Java rock star and presented at Java 1 many years ago. Yeah. People forget, I'm not sure if it's on my blog or on Fuji, but JavaFX 3D, I hear at some point JavaFX was way ahead of everything else in 3D visualization. Difficult word. So this is dating from JavaFX 8. How old is it? 15
Um,
years? I don't know. So they
yeah.
had this whole container visualization system for a port. This is fully
Wow.
in JavaFX, and it's when was this video created? 12 years ago.
Wow. That's
JavaFX 3D, like this one. So they had these robots.
uh-huh.
I'm not sure, but it visualized the animation like this. So you had the Duke walking on the board, and this is also JavaFX. So this is the deep space trajectory. So this is by Sean Phillips 7 years ago. So this is, and you have it's not a movie, eh? It's the calculation of planets in space and how they fly around each other. It's the same thing with the link that I shared with the Trinity application. It's not a movie or a still image. It's really a graph from millions and millions of points. And that's why he uses Java, because Java can do multi-threading calculations and then say, yeah, and now visualize this, and now visualize this. So he has this whole complex calculations in the back with Java, which are impossible in other languages. And then he sends this to the visualization, now show this, and yeah.
This is absolutely
Crazy.
amazing. I mean, friends, I have expected that Frank is going to show us something really, really interesting, but I am amazed by what you can actually do with Java and
There's
JavaFX.
so much, yeah. If people are looking for all the links by what I shared, they are already on Py4j website. So here, and for later reference, of course. So here are all the links, except the new ones we now added. So they can find everything here. And yeah, If you're new to JavaFX, go to JavaFX Central. That's a perfect starting point.
Yeah,
So you
and
have
don't forget to get the builds of Java as JavaFX, such as Liberica GDK or
Azul.
Azul.
Yeah, because they we also have on on the Py4j website described how you can install a normal JDK, any JDK without JFX, and then add JFX because you can just download it from the creators, which is Gluon. So
Mm-hmm.
here you can also download it. That's another way that you install it as a separate package. Why is this a good approach if you want to have the latest? Or early access versions. They are here too. They have early access versions of 25 and 26 even. So if you already want to see what is coming in 26, if it fixes a specific bug you have, for instance, you can already use an early access version. Not all of them will run on Raspberry Pi, but on a Linux machine or whatever. So if you go to Gluon, there you can find the downloads if you want to combine it with Temurin or OpenJDK built itself in Debian, for instance. You can do that.
That's amazing. Well, Frank, thank you so much for this live stream. I mean, friends, I don't know about you, but I got so much more even inspiration for experimenting with JavaFX, and I love that it is stable and it's still there. It's still relevant, right? And you can create beautiful things with it, and backed by the power of Java as one of the, I don't know, best languages,
Yeah.
programming languages. I mean, yes, you can do a lot. You can experiment. You can do just fun experiments for yourself, or you can do some hardcore enterprise. So whatever you can, whatever you want. So
Single
it's
problem finding time to try it all out.
that's the only problem.
But if you love programming, if you love experimenting, if you have that's how it starts with me. I had Raspberry Pis just in a box because I do these code clubs with kids, Coder Dojo clubs, and we had some donations from Raspberry Pi. We had to do something with it, and a lot of people have Raspberry Pis somewhere in a box.
Yeah.
They somehow bought it because they thought, yeah, let's do something. At certain points during Corona, there was a shortage in everything, also in
Mhm.
chips. So buying a new Raspberry Pi became impossible for almost a year, or I think even 2 years. So at that time, having a Raspberry Pi in a box was really a shame because people were willing to pay for it. So please take it out of the box, connect it to a keyboard, to a mouse, to a screen, burn the latest operating system on it, and just play with it. Because, yeah, of course, Raspberry Pi comes from Python and the number pi, so it was intended for experiments with Python, but it's just as good or even better with Java. So use whatever you want, try it out. If you're interested in electronics, go to the Py4j website. Even if you don't use Java, you will find instructions on how to install Visual Studio Code, how to configure it for certain electronic components. If you want to understand how pulse width modulation works, PWM, it's explained there. Um, it's definitely not all my work. A lot of people have contributed, like IO examples. So what is pulse width modulation is really explained here, how you can do it, what I2C is, how you address a device, how you test if a device is working SPI. So all these ways of using electronics is explained on the Py4j website.
Yeah. So, friends, go ahead, grab all these links, all these goodies, grab a GDK build with JavaFX, and go have experiments and share with us what you have achieved, what you have built. I mean, you can reach out to me or Frank, wherever. So, Frank, where do you actually dwell right now?
Um,
Most often?
Not on that strange thing that disappeared. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Mastodon. You can find me on Blue Sky.
Mhm.
On Fuji, of course, JVX Central. look up my name, and you will find me or a lawyer specialized in bankruptcies. But that's not me. That's the other one.
There's also this football player, as far as I remember.
Probably, yeah.
So
And there is a Frank Delporte who was once one of the founders of Las Vegas, and he was some kind of mafiosi. So that's not me either.
nice. Right. Okay, so yeah, so reach out to Frank or to me if you have something to share, if you have any questions about JavaFX, and so yeah. And well, Frank, thank you so much for this live stream. I mean, that was
Yeah.
brilliant.
And thank you
I
for having
enjoyed
me.
it thoroughly. So, and I hope
Okay.
our audience too. So, friends, until next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.